Between Taiwan and Japan, close to Okinawa, there are a group of uninhabited islands that Taiwan, China, and Japan all lay claim to. Now, earlier this week, China and Russia sent naval vessels close to those islands, causing Taiwan and Japan to raise an alarm. But why did these three countries want these uninhabited islands so badly? Staś Butler speaks with Dr. Vincent Wang of Adelphi University to find out more. Then we're going to show you the biggest winners of Taiwan's Grammys, the Gold Melody Awards. And in #Taiwan, I'm going to tell you about a haunted house that's for sale. This is Taiwan Insider. Let's get started.
This week, Taiwan reaffirmed its claim to the Diaoyutai or Senkaku Islands after Beijing and Moscow sent warships sailing nearby. But why is Taiwan getting involved in a fight over these remote, uninhabited rocks out at sea when Japan's the one with real control? I spoke to Dr. Vincent Wang of Adelphi University, and I began by asking him what Beijing and Moscow hoped to achieve with their actions.
As China's navy grows, it wants to become a blue water navy, and the sea lanes near Senkakus or Diaoyutai are very important. It's actually part to break through the so-called first island chain. So it has a lot to do with China's ambition to become the preeminent maritime power in Asia Pacific, which of course you can draw all kinds of conclusions about what that means to the United States and other Western powers. Now, why Russia also joined this patrol? I think this is a bit unusual. I think that in the last few months, observers have noticed a notable warming up of relations between China and Russia. So I think Russia and China and Russia jointly patrol the waters of Diaoyu or Senkaku in order to show solidarity. And also, Russia, by doing this, probably was also hoping that China would lend more support on Russian claims on Ukraine. And then, of course, China hoped that Russia could reciprocate on its claim about Diaoyutai and, of course, Taiwan.
I mean, you talk about the historical background and how the PRC, the current government in China, inherited the ROC, or what is now Taiwan's claims over various territories. Was that inevitable? Did the PRC have to inherit those claims? Did it have to continue to press all of these, claims over various islands, the Senkakus included?
I think it has both sort of a convenient standpoint and also a necessary standpoint. Convenient because the modern states often draw their boundaries and form their identity from the last power that resides over the territory, right? So the PRC, after its founding in 1949, found itself occupying the entire mainland except Taiwan and a bunch of offshore islands, and that it claims to be its successor state to the ROC. Now, so this is from the legal standpoint. Why is that convenient? Because remember that the United Nations Law of Sea Convention did not go into effect until 1983. So that now these maritime rights, such as fishery rights and other natural resources, and also the naval navigation I just talked about, become very convenient for the PRC. In other words, I would go so far to say that China cannot become a preeminent maritime power in the Indo-Pacific without establishing its preeminence in the East China Sea and South China Sea. Therefore, it finds these historical claims very convenient.
And from a Taiwanese perspective, continuing the claims of the ROC, this obviously causes some degree of friction with Japan, which also claims Senkaku or Diaoyutai Islands and does in fact control them. I mean, how much friction does this cause between Taiwan and Japan?
Before 2013, this used to be an irritant between Japan and Taiwan. The waters around Diaoyutai or Senkakus were historically the area the Taiwanese fishermen, especially from the Yilan County. As you know, the Senkakus or Diaoyutai are uninhabited. Nobody actually lived there, Chinese, Japanese, or Taiwanese. So what it matters more is the fishery resources and other natural resources, and of course the claim that derives from an island under the UN Law of Sea. Eventually, with the nudging of the US government, Obama administration, Taiwan and Japan signed a historic fishery agreement. And the Taiwanese no longer, they still claim, make the sovereignty claim, but they don't impose it. Now, from the Japanese standpoint, for Taiwan to make this seemingly anachronistic or silly claim actually also has advantage. By formally renouncing it, I don't think it will win additional goodwill from Japan, because Japan-Taiwan relations since the reconciliation in 2013 have been very good, and both share geopolitical outlook. They're concerned about China and all that. So it will not win additional goodwill. It actually could earn a lot of bad will, evil will from China, because for the PRC, that would actually confirm their suspicion that the current government, independence-leaning DPP government, is actually bent on formally declaring independence and severing any organic historical ties with the mainland. So the costs actually outweigh the gains. Therefore, the DPP is happy to try to say as little as possible, but when necessary, just reiterate the KMT's position. That's my analysis.
This past weekend, music royalty descended upon Kaohsiung City in southern Taiwan for the Golden Melody Awards, also known as the Grammys of the Chinese-speaking world. At stake were some of the most prestigious prizes in the world of mandopop. Here's a look at some of the night's winners. The Golden Melody Awards is a music honor awarded by Taiwan's Culture Ministry. It's often called the Grammys of the Chinese language music industry. This past weekend, the ceremony for the 33rd Golden Melody Awards took place in Kaohsiung City. In attendance were some of the biggest names in mandopop. The biggest winner of the night was Singaporean singer Tanya Chua. She took home her 4th Golden Melody for Best Female Singer, surpassing Taiwanese indigenous singer Ah Mei, with whom she was tied for most wins in the category. Chua's latest album, Depart, took home an additional 3 Golden Melody Awards. Chua says she held no expectation going into the ceremony. She said she was honored to have been nominated and was just glad people had not grown tired of her music after so many years. Chinese rock and roll singer Cui Jian took home the award for Best Male Singer, making him the first Chinese singer ever to take home the award. Taiwanese heavy metal band Flesh Juicer won the Best Band Award, while Eggplant Egg, another Taiwanese band, took home the award for Song of the Year for their song, Oh Love, You Are Much Greater Than I Imagined. Another highlight this year was this year's Best Indigenous Singer Award, which went to 87-year-old Ose Hangye. Hangye says she's been singing for 80 years, but she won't stop yet. She's going to teach the next generation. With the 33rd Golden Melody Awards finished, artists who missed out will have to wait till next year to get their hands on the biggest prize in the business.
Now, skydiving is not the most accessible activity in Taiwan. For the most part, it's open just to military personnel. But that might be set to change after the Taitung County government teamed up with a local flight academy to offer skydiving tours for a limited time.
Taiwan has it all: beautiful mountain ranges and wide open seascapes. But before now, you could only see it from the surface. That's about to change because, for the first time ever, Taiwan will offer skydiving tours to the public. They're free, but there's a catch. They're only available for a limited time, and only 88 people a day will be allowed to partake. The Taitung County government has partnered with Apex Flight Academy's airline to offer this unique experience. The skydiving tours will be organized in conjunction with the Taitung International Hot Air Balloon Festival. Apex chairman Wilson Gao says his airline often gets asked why Taiwan doesn't offer skydiving tours. He says that this first round of skydiving tours in Taitung is a big step towards developing a long-term landscape for the activity in Taiwan. 5 days after signups went live, the skydiving tours have drawn over 10,000 applications from people who can't wait to jump out of a plane. Being that skydiving is relatively new to Taiwan, how safe is it to leap headfirst out of a speeding aircraft from a high altitude? Apex assures the public that they're using top-of-the-line equipment. They have parachutes that can measure altitude and speed, and if someone's free-falling too fast, then the backup chute will deploy automatically. Seeing how many enthusiasts and instructors want skydiving to become a more long-term part of Taiwan's tourism scene, organizers are taking every measure to ensure everyone has a safe and fun time. As for who will be the first people to experience this unprecedented activity, event organizers will hold a drawing to determine which lucky few will participate in this round of skydiving. Winners will jump between July 16th and July 25th. But if all goes swimmingly, Taiwan might begin offering paid skydiving tours sooner rather than later.
Now, if jumping out of a plane wasn't scary enough for you, next up, Leslie dives into some local ghostly lore as he explores a haunted house that's for sale. That's in #Taiwan.
Last week, we talked about an art exhibition in Tainan City that focused on ghouls, evil spirits, and zombies. This week, we're going to talk about more of the same. Take a look at this picture. Now, that place just looks haunted, doesn't it? Now, this place is called the Mingxiong Gui Wu, which translates into Mingxiong Haunted House. Oh yeah, we're going there. It's located in Chiayi County's Mingxiong Township, hence the name. In August 2020, a realtor posted on Facebook that he was going to try and sell land right next to the house. A lot of people in the group were like, good luck, man, you're gonna need it. In Taiwan, land is measured using a unit called ping. 1 ping is approximately equivalent to 3.305 square meters. The land for sale is about 375 ping, which is about 1,256 square meters. The asking price for the property is 13.5 million new Taiwan dollars, or around 450,000 US dollars. That price is a considerably good deal for Taiwan real estate. This week, news reports in Taiwan zeroed in on how the property is still up for sale, even though it's been on the market for 2 years. Many of the reports say that people have called asking about the property, but that's where their interest stops. It seems that once again this week people are very much fascinated with the macabre, but they fall short of wanting to own it. The Mingxiong Haunted House was built back in 1929, a time when Taiwan was still under Japanese rule. The family that originally constructed the house went by the surname Liao. Slowly, everyone in that family moved out of the house, and then nature just took its course and took it over. Like I said, that house looks haunted. But the reason why it looks haunted is because, according to the internet, descendants of the Liao family removed the roof and gutted the house to avoid taxes. Then there's also stories of accidental deaths and suicides on the estate's grounds, leading to its haunted reputation. But there are no records for those stories, they're just legends. And the current proprietor laments those legends because they're preventing him from selling the house. But it also looks like that the legends are at least propping up the local economy. One person opened a cafe nearby the house called Mingxiong Haunted House Coffee, which is kind of mean, but also really enterprising, I must say. But I think I know why the house is in the news again. It's because a horror movie about the house is coming out at the end of the month. And I really hope that this is just a publicity stunt between the movie makers and the proprietors of the house. Because if it isn't, once that movie comes out, that house ain't never getting sold. And before we go back to the studio for our question of the week, here's a look at some of the other stories that are on our radar.
The average person in Taiwan has to save over 9 years of wages to afford to buy a home. That's according to new figures from the Interior Ministry. Prices vary depending on where you are. In Taipei, the average home costs more than 16 times the median annual wage. But in Chiayi County, that drops to less than 6. Experts say historically low interest rates and the expectation of future inflation are partly to blame for why housing demand is so high. But things could change before long. Many parts of Taiwan already have an oversupply of housing, and the central bank might soon raise interest rates. The Human Rights Commission is launching an inquiry into the cause of child sexual abuse. Government authorities received almost 8,000 complaints of sexual assault last year. More than half involved children. The commission says the aim of the systemic investigation is to identify the causes of child sexual abuse to help stop it from happening. Their report is expected next July. Macau suspended mango imports from Taiwan last week after authorities found traces of the COVID-19 virus on shipments of the fruit. Then, on Thursday, Hong Kong threw away a 200-kilogram batch of Taiwanese mangoes for the same reason. Taiwan's Agriculture Council criticized both decisions. It says there's no scientific evidence that COVID can be transmitted to humans through fruits or other foods. The temporary bans on Taiwanese mangoes come after China suspended imports of Taiwanese beltfish and horse mackerel in late June. Chinese authorities similarly said they found traces of COVID on packaging.
And we're back in the studio for the final question of the week. Stash, the boys are back in town.
The boys are still in town.
The boys are still in town. Anyway, for this week's question, I want to ask you, you saw on hashtag Taiwan how I introduced a haunted house that's for sale for a really good deal. And I just want to ask you, like, I don't even want to ask you something boring like, would you buy the house? I'm just going to hand you the house.
Okay, the house is mine.
Your distant relative.
Yeah.
You just get in the news that he left you a house. There's some rumors. It's a little haunted. What are you going to do with it?
I have one word for you, Leslie, and that word is renovate.
Ooh.
I reckon, you see haunted houses, like, you picture a haunted house in your head. You're picturing a lot of kind of small rooms, sort of corners you can't quite see around.
Yeah.
Maybe some mirrors. I'm just saying, knock all those walls down, open plan, lots of light.
French windows?
French windows. I'm not sure goes through into that kind of thing.
Vaulted
I reckon
ceilings.
with a bit of renovation, you could do away with that bad juju.
That's really good, man. Interior design will do away with bad juju. I think we're in the same area here. I want to open a bed and breakfast.
Oh, I see.
Because as you know, we've done like these haunted topics for the past two hashtag Taiwans. Drawn a lot of people apparently, and drawn a lot of interest. And I think just, you're always going to have people who are just waiting to make a connection to the spiritual realm. And, that's where the money is.
And you're going to cash in
I'm going to cash in on that right there.
I like it.
So that's my big plan for my haunted house. Anyway, that's about all the time we have for this edition of Taiwan Insider. Thank you so much for joining us. For Taiwan Insider, I'm Leslie Liao.
And I'm Staś Butler. Make sure you follow us on our social media channels. Catch us on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Instagram now.
And don't forget to tweet at us. You can also send us a message, leave a comment, tell us what you think about the show. And until next week, we'll see you around, guys.
Bye-bye.